2024 Apple Valley Planning Commission meeting to order. First item of business is the approval of the agenda. Any changes from staff?
Madam Chair, members of the commission, we have no changes for you at this time.
Thank you, Tim. Any changes from the commissioners?
Move approval. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Schindler, seconded by Commissioner Scanlon. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next item of business is the approval of the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered routine and will be enacted with a single motion without discussion unless a commissioner or a citizen requests to have any item separately considered. It will then be moved to the land use action items for consideration. 3A, can I have an approval for minutes of April 17th, 2024 regular meeting?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Schindler, seconded by Commissioner Scanlon. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Brings us to number 4, public hearings, and on the agenda tonight, we do not have any. So that brings us to 5A, land use action items, and we have Tim in for Alex, I believe, and that is Applewood Pointe of Apple Valley Second Edition.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Before you tonight is a request from United Properties on behalf of Robert Thomas Homes. They are looking for approval of Applewood Pointe of Apple Valley Second Edition. There are 3 applications before you tonight to consider. The first is amend the plan development number 1080, PD 1080, to allow for one-family detached dwellings and correct some typographical errors. Also, number 2, subdivide Outlot A by preliminary plat into 7 single-family lots, which we will get into very quickly. And third, to approve a site plan and building permit authorization for 7 new single-family homes in conjunction with a multifamily development. As Alex introduced at the last meeting, the site located at Pilot Knob and McAndrews Road. The Applewood Pointe First Edition considers about 7.5 acres. Outlot A, highlighted in the middle there, is 1.14 acres. The site is covered, as we indicated, under PD 1080. It's in 2 separate zones, 1 and 2. Zone 2 is the one that is being considered for action tonight. Nothing on Zone 1 at this point. In the picture on your screen here, you'll note the area in the front of the pond area or behind the pond, sort of that mounded area. This is where the 7 new homes or 7 new lots will be proposed for. Back in 2020-21, Applewood Pointe was approved under this site plan. And again, you're seeing up on the top half here, I'll use maybe the mouse comes up. The building shaded here, this is the 98-unit co-op building that is fully leased or fully occupied or owned at this point. Happy to hear and see that. And also the 7 lots that were being proposed here are 7 single-family, what they refer to as townhomes or villas. And since our ordinance defines a townhome as a shared wall arrangement, these obviously weren't. So they were given the ubiquitous name of townhome, but that is not the case. They will be single-family dwellings or single-family villas. Preliminary plat, again, just shows the layout of the 7 lots here. Again, these are labeled in your packet between 6,000, 5,000 square feet. So these are a little bit smaller than normal single-family lots because they're accepting a smaller, a little bit smaller villa-style home. Also, Alex brought this to your attention. We discovered when working with United Properties that there were a number of typographical errors. It looked like some of the numbers were transposed from Zone 1 to Zone 2, so we're here to fix those. We're also adding one family detached dwelling as an allowed use under Zone 2 only. Utility plan, not much change in here. This site was already set up or provided for utilities. Stubbed to the areas here when they built the co-op building, so there aren't really a lot of major changes being planned on the utility plan. Grading plan, this had to be remodified a little bit due to the need for these larger footprint, but the walkout features that are going to be on these buildings. So these will be full basement walkouts. Now, remember, every building that comes in goes through its separate review period before, not only with our building department, but also our engineers. So they want to make sure that these all are consistent with this approved master grading plan. And this is what they use to measure those when those individual units come in for permit. Landscape plan, again, these are very basic, but they do meet our ordinance. These will be probably adjusted a little bit, but they still have to maintain the 2.5% value of the home as we've always had on multifamily dwellings. Alex went into these very quickly. These are the different elevations of the homes proposed by Robert Thomas. Again, the Hamilton refers to a simple floor plan, a varied individual floor plan, but they have a choice of providing for different unique characteristics on the outside, both for this Inverness, Mayfield, and so on. So the choice will be up to the new homeowners of each site in Sterling. At the April 17th meeting, there was a public hearing, as some of you are aware. And the question was, why is there no ability to turn right on the pilot knob from site? Can additional signage be regarding U-turns be added? And why was the median on McAndrews Road not extended? Our response in your packet was both McAndrews and Pilot Knob are managed by Dakota County, who controls that access spacing. And that was approved when the original Applewood Pointe was approved. The approved access points were established with safety as a primary design. The city will work with Dakota County to review any signage along McAndrews. The resident questions on limited access have been addressed by the engineer at the public hearing. After that lone comment from the public was heard, it was determined to make a recommendation or motion to close the hearing. So for tonight, we're asking for 3 recommended actions. Recommend approval, ordinance 155, amending chapter 155, article 839 regarding just 1080 PD. Recommend approval subdivision of Apple Valley Pointe, 2nd edition, subject to conditions outlined in Exhibit A. And also recommend approval of the site and building permit authorization for the 7 new homes under the 7 new lots for Block 1, Applewood 2nd edition. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer any. Also, Mr. Dave Young from United Properties here to answer any questions if you have any too.
Thank you, Tim. Commissioners, any questions for
Just had a quick question.
Commissioner Scanlon?
Madam Chair, Tim, trying to read the fine print on the drawings, just to confirm, it was kind of open last meeting, that there'll be a setback of 5 feet between each one of the homes for a total of 10
Correct. Each home has a minimum requirement of 5 feet from property line.
property line.
So by definition, they could build up to 10 feet between each other, or a 10-foot separation.
Okay, and then this might be a question for the applicant. Are these homeowners going to have access to amenities or things at the other facility? Or the main facility?
I'll defer that to the applicant here.
Mr. Commissioner, no, other than the pedestrian trails around the
Okay,
south side of the property, but inside the building.
otherwise they're separate, they're not, okay.
Correct,
All right,
yeah.
okay. And the reason I asked that question is if they did share some of the amenities, that there might be some additional connection points that you might consider, but if that's not the case, then
No.
all right, thank you for the clarification.
Thank you. Any other questions? Or for the applicant? Okay. Do I hear?
Madam Chair, I recommend approval of an ordinance amending Chapter 155, Appendix F, Article A 39 of the City Code regulating planned development designation number 1080.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Scanlon, seconded by Commissioner Schindler. Any questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Madam Chair, I recommend approval of the Applewood Pointe of Apple Valley, 2nd edition, preliminary plat, subject to conditions outlined in Exhibit A.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Scanlon and seconded by Commissioner Schindler. Any questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Madam Chair, I recommend approval of the site plan building permit authorization for lots 1 through 7, Block 1, Applewood Point of Apple Valley, Second Edition, subject to the conditions outlined in Exhibit B.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Scanlon and seconded by Commissioner Schindler. Any questions? Any discussions, I should say? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you. This item will be on the next council agenda for next week. We're sort of doing a special favor, expediting it to the next meeting. They would like to expedite their building permit for the Parade of Homes, so we hope to see one of those units built or more by Parade of Homes time, so
Wow.
hopefully we'll get to see something in the fall for you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That brings us already to number 6, other business. And I will let Tim.
Madam Chair, I
Sure.
felt like I'm just going to stand up here. I'm just going to let you know that our next meeting of Wednesday, May 15th, I believe we have one item scheduled for that night. You'll receive a packet of information as well on that very soon, followed by a Wednesday, June 5th meeting, council on May 9th and May 23rd respectively. And again, happy to answer any questions after the meeting if you have any. Also want to wish or welcome our newest member, Doug Halas.
That's correct.
Doug just was sworn in and was selected by our commission, or by our council, excuse me. We had a pretty good slate of candidates, so you rose to the top. Congratulations. Looking forward to work with you. Spent a long time with Mr. Halas the other day. We talked a lot about our families,
Yes.
about scouting, and about
All kinds of things.
we spent a few minutes just talking about what a planning commission member does, but guess what? That's okay. We're here to help you and they are too. So
Absolutely.
if I'm not available and if my staff available, please call on these members. You've got their number, you've got their emails. Please reach out. Doesn't matter who. They're veterans now. So welcome aboard.
Thanks for the welcome.
You bet.
Look forward to working with you all.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And just to warn you, our meetings are usually not this short. Do I have an adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Scanlon, seconded by Commissioner Schindler. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.